On Sunday, you said the tariffs would stay in place for days and weeks. What changed between then and now?
No, the reciprocal tariffs stay in place. They are 10% across the board on all the countries, right? We paused on any numbers that are above 10%, and except for China, of course, who retaliated. And then, of course, you know what's going on with China because they've retaliated. And the president was very clear. If you retaliate, you will feel what he thinks. And they feel what he thinks. So there's 10% reciprocal tariffs across the board, but we are not going above that. We're letting each country come in and let's negotiate fully and completely. And you may have heard the president in the Oval Office. He talked about that he really wants to put military spending on the table. He wants to do, let's have a full conversation with each country and let's really discuss it together. And the lead negotiator is going to be Donald Trump.
Mr. Secretary, do you say definitively that it wasn't the direction of the market that turned Trump to make this 90-day pause?
It was not. I will happily say definitively it was not. Donald Trump is in charge of these policies in this direction. He is the greatest negotiator and the greatest person who understands these are his goals and his objectives, and he is executing them. And so he said yesterday, or the day before yesterday was the first day he said, and he put out a truth that said he was willing to negotiate. And then yesterday he told us all he'd be bespoke. And then we had so many calls after he said he would do bespoke negotiations. I mean, it just became crazy, the amount of calls we got, that it was impossible to be respectful to all these wonderful allied countries and to do that. So how can you be respectful when a country says, I want to come and talk, I will do it, I will be reasonable, I've analyzed it, and we will come and talk. How do you deal with that when you have so many countries that deserve our time and our respect? So he decided he would pause it, start at 10% for everybody, right? And let's go negotiate with all of these great countries, and let's see if we can do great deals for America, much better deals for America. But that's the model. So it was just this incredible influx of calls. I mean, more than 75. I mean, it was incredible, the scale and scope of the calls that we received.
Those calls were coming in at all with Chinese officials, you or other cabinet members. Trump said that he would expect a phone call from Xi. How soon do you think that's coming?
I am not engaging with them. Scott has not engaged with them. And the president, he does expect to have conversations with President Xi, but that is between them. If we get a contact, we will just pass it to the president. And this is really about him. He has said publicly that maybe they don't really know the best way to go through, but the answer really is it's a phone call between the two leaders of these giant countries that they can work it out together. But it's really, that's what's going to happen, and that's what we all expect to happen.
Mr. Secretary, is the president trying to build a coalition against China? And second question, are members of the EU calling the administration singularly to cut a deal?
So the answer is the president is focused on America, okay? And he's going to try to negotiate the best deals for America with each of these great countries that are calling us that want to talk. So he's not trying to build a coalition or any kind of thing like that. He's just focused on making the American farmer, the American rancher, the American fisherman, right? Our manufacturers, our people, let them have a better chance at the world. And that's what he's focused on. And the answer is we've spoken to the EU and we've spoken to the member states as well. They are all just, those member countries are calling as well. So it is busy would be the understatement for Scott Bessent, Howard Lutnick, and Jameson Greer, the three of us. It is just, wow. I don't know. That's the only way to say it. It's just, we have so many great countries who want to talk, who are willing to talk, who are finally willing to make what we expect to be a fair deal for America, and we're really excited to talk to them. Yes.
Canada is just imposing retaliatory tariffs in the auto industry. How do you react to that? And are you considering a pause, maybe also for the auto industry?
No, the president was very clear. The sector tariffs, those on steel and aluminum and those on autos, are going to remain as he put them out. So that is unchanged, right? What he said was the reciprocal tariffs would go to 10%. And if Canada decides to keep their retaliatory move, which I would suggest, having watched how it went with China, would be a really, really bad choice. Europe put out some retaliatory tariffs, but they said they don't start for a couple of weeks, right? And I think what's going to happen is they are going to be pushed out for the 90 days so they have time to negotiate with the president without having something hanging over their head. So that's certainly my expectation, that all these countries will realize, let's just wait, let's go negotiate, let's see what we can accomplish together. But they have to understand their rules. It's not just tariffs. Tariffs are one thing, but you have to realize, why can't we sell a car in Japan? Why is 94% of cars driving around in Japan Japanese? Do you think it's their tariffs, which are actually really low? No, there are other things that they do to make it impossible, right? They have subsidies. They have non-tariff trade barriers. They just make it impossible. In Japan, they make it impossible for anybody. Korea, similar. Europe, similar for us. And these things just need to change. So Canada needs to understand things are changing, okay? Things are changing. We made a deal with them. We put out tariffs on autos that protected their auto parts industry. They should understand that was a balanced move by the president with respect to Canada and Mexico, right? You see how Mexico has dealt with it? Mexico's been restrained and being pragmatic, and her ratings in Mexico are 75% positive. Right now, Canada, they're in an election, so you never know. Maybe it's all election, bluster, but we don't know. But the fact is, if they put those tariffs on, we're going to be talking in the Oval Office, and he's going to respond. So I hope they choose to refrain.
Back to China.
Yes?
The pharmaceutical did you say that the markets had no impact on the president's decision to pause the tariffs?
As I said, the president 2 days ago put out a truth that said he would negotiate. Yesterday, he said he would do it bespoke, country by country. And the inflow of countries asking to negotiate with us on a bespoke fashion became overwhelming. It was, and so he decided this morning that to be respectful to all of these countries who want to negotiate with the United States, right, that he should put a pause on so that we can negotiate with them for 90 days. He said 90 days. He made it clear that it was 90 days. Right? But that's the policy that he set today. And he thinks resetting American trade policy is fundamental, right? It's fundamental. He said it during the campaign trail. He said it after he was elected. He said it leading up to Liberation Day.